2023 full axe collection. Get started with this big boy. This is a brush axe. Brush axes are used for, well, clearing brush. So the edges on these things are flat on one side and sharp on the other, kind of like a chisel, which helps to get a pretty sharp blade with that little work. And since you're beating them up so much, it kind of makes sense. I built this little bolt right here so you can put on a regular axe handle. I've done some work to thin down the handle a little bit, but it's still pretty thick. And we're at 36 inches on the handle. All right, next axe. Subject number 2, we've got my little beater axe. I use this one for clearing stuff in the ground, riving, which is when you beat this thing with a friggin' hammer. This one takes all the heat. Now, I made this handle myself, and you can probably tell. Listen, you gotta start somewhere. I tried, okay? One thing I did get right was this pretty thin handle, and it's nice to throw around. This was originally a boy's axe that I broke the handle on, then I painted it, made a new axe handle for it. Used some homemade nails and a piece of copper to keep it in there. And since you're dying to know, this is a non-standard 28.5-inch handle, because I'm crazy like that. The wedge on this thing is so bad because this is a cheap, hardware store axe. Next axe. We'll take a look at my little double bit cruiser type axe. First of all, we're just gonna highlight this handle. This handle is so nice. Look at the finish on it. It's very thin compared to most dull bits. Got this guy at an antique shop and it's still in pretty good shape. A little close up on the edge there, not too bad. And you can tell it's original. All right, next axe. Now this one shouldn't take much introduction. This is my little vintage Collins boys fireman axe. I'll say it again, but you don't see many small fireman's axes. Most of them are built for, well, firemen. I almost want to think this was made for one of those fire cases with the axe and the thing. I almost want to think this was like an emergency axe in a fire case somewhere. You can see it used to be red, now it's all grayed up. Nice edge on it. Nice little spike. And we're at 23 inches, which is super weird. Next up is my daily commuter. This is a Council Tools boys axe, 2.5 pounds. Done some work on the handle myself with a pair of scissors just to scrape off some of the wood and get it thinner. A little close up on the grain there. I haven't treated it with any kind of oil, so you kind of get a lot of this mud absorbed in there. But it still does the trick. The only issue I have with this axe is the wedge slipping out, so I had to make a new one and throw it in there with some glue and nail it down with that wedge. Overall, it's been a really nice axe, and I use it a ton, as you can see by the blade and the way it looks. It's in rough shape. All right, next axe. This guy is a recent handle that I did on my channel. You can go watch that video. So you'll remember what I just showed you with that other double bit compared to this one. This thing is so much fatter and just not as good. And look up here, this is kind of ridiculous how big this is, and it's just sort of cartoonish in my opinion. But we're still working on it. This is the side that I've worked on with the file, and this is the side that I have not. Got this head at an antique shop, and you can tell how freaking crooked and wonky it is. It's kind of weird looking. But the rear handle went well, so yeah, it works. And an honorable mention is my tomahawk. Got this, it's like a throwing tomahawk. It's I think it's a trade pattern maybe. And something neat about tomahawks is this. They're designed so you can easily replace the handle if you're in the field, because they're made for Indians and all. Pretty neat though. That's all we got.